Right, in this tutorial I'm going to make a 15-point star blanket. However, if you wanted to make a 10-point star blanket or a 12-point star blanket, you would just have to do it so that your first round is whatever number of points you want. So I'm going to do 15 double crochets into the ring, and if that's for 15 points. If you wanted to do 12, then you would just do 12 double crochets and then the pattern would be the same. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are either going to start it with a magic ring, which is where you lie the yarn over your hand like this, you wrap it around the top 2 fingers, you cross, and then you go under the first bit, over the second bit, you pull this, you twist, and then you wrap the yarn and you pull it through. That is your magic ring if you would like to do it that way. That is a bit tricky. The way I think I'm going to start this one is by doing a slip knot. So you wrap the yarn clockwise around your finger. The small end should be on top. And then I'm going to put my hook under this piece. And I'm going to pull this piece through gently, but then I'm going to pull it all off my finger so that that is still a loop. And that is my slip knot. And then I'm going to chain 4. So we're going to just wrap around and pull through. That's 1. Wrap around and pull through, that's 2. Wrap around and pull through, that's 3. Wrap around and pull through, that's 4. So that's 4 chains, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And what we're going to do then to make a ring, we're going to slip stitch. So you're going to poke your hook into the first chain, so just poke, then you're going to wrap the yarn around and pull, then you're going to put this loop through this loop like that. Now what you're going to do is make a chain 3. This is your starting chain, and it does count as a double crochet. So to chain 3, what we do is wrap, pull, wrap, pull, wrap, pull. Now because I'm making a 15-point star blanket, I've already got my first double, so we need 14 more doubles. Now remember, a double is wrap the yarn, poke, wrap the yarn, pull, wrap the yarn, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. So that's now 2. So then you're going to wrap the yarn and poke, wrap the yarn and pull, wrap the yarn, pull through 2, wrap the yarn, pull through 2. So that's 3. So wrap, poke, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. Wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. So wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. I say wrap, the actual term here is yarn over. So if you ever see YO or yarn over, what it means is just wrap. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got 7. So we're going to wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. So how many have we got now? I lost count. So I've got 11. So wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. So when you've got the amount you want, like I said, if you want to make a 12-point star blanket, you just start off with 12 doubles. If you want a 5-star, you just start off with 5 doubles, okay? Then what we're going to do is slip stitch into the top of our starting chain. So this is our chain. So we are going to poke the hook in, then we're going to wrap and pull, and then we're going to pull this one through this one, and that is a slip stitch. That is your first round for your star blanket. Now what we're going to do next is we are going to chain 3. So when I say chain, what I mean is wrap and pull, wrap and pull, wrap and pull. And what we're next going to do is put a double crochet into this stitch. Okay, so into each stitch we need 2 double crochet. Now a double crochet is wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. So we've got wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. Is it called an increase when you do 2 in the same stitch? Okay, so you've got wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. So we're literally just putting 2 double crochets into every single stitch. Okay, so wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and poke, wrap and pull, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. So I'm just going to start saying doubles now, but what it actually means is still the same. Okay, so this is a double crochet. We're going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. I am going a little bit faster, but only because on these videos I only get 10 minutes. That's why they're in so many different parts as well. But if you are getting really stuck, just rewind it a bit. I'm still doing exactly the same stitches. Okay, I'm just doing 2 doubles in every single stitch around. What you should end up with is whatever amount of points you decided for your star, you should end up with double the amount of stitches on this row. So I have opted for 15, so I should have 30. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. And now what we're going to do is slip stitch into the 3rd chain. So to slip stitch, you just poke. There's no wrapping around, you just poke. You wrap around and you pull, and then this one goes through this one, and that is called a slip stitch. And that is the end of round 2, and that's the end of part 1. Right, this is part 2 of how to make our star blanket. So what we're going to do is chain 3. So remember to chain, you wrap and pull, wrap and pull, wrap and pull. Then what we're going to do is we're going to miss this stitch. We're going to do a double. So remember, you wrap the yarn and poke, wrap the yarn and pull, wrap and pull through 2, wrap and pull through 2. Then we are going to do 2 chains, so wrap and pull, and then we're going to do another double into that same stitch. So we're going to wrap, poke, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. And then we're going to skip this stitch and we're going to do the same again. So we're going to do a double in here. I'm hoping you've watched part 1, so I'm just going to use the proper terms now. Then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do another double into the same one. And then we're going to skip this stitch and we're going to do a double into the next stitch. And then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do another double into the next stitch. And then we're going to skip one and we're going to do a double into the next stitch. And then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do another double into the next stitch. And then we're going to skip one, and we're going to do a double into the next stitch. Then you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to do another double into the same stitch, and then you're going to skip this one. We're going to do a double into this one, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do another double into the same one, and then we're going to skip one. So we're not going in that one, we're going in this one. We're going to do another double, and we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do another double into the same stitch, and then we're going to skip one, and we're going to do another double into the next stitch, and we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do another double into the same stitch, and then we're going to skip one, and we're going to do a double into the next stitch, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do another double into the same stitch, and we're going to skip one, and we're going to do another double into the next stitch. So basically the pattern is, this is what you call a V stitch. Okay, so we've got the chain 2 and then another double. So where you have a chain 2 and then you've got 2 chains and another chain 2 and it goes into the same stitch, it's called a V stitch. So what we're now doing on all of them is we're skipping a stitch, doing a V stitch, skipping a stitch, doing a V stitch. So we've got skip that one, we're going to chain, no not, we're going to double, sorry, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to double again, and then we're going to miss this stitch and we're going to do another double into this one, and then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do another double into the same one, and then we're going to skip one, we're going to do a double into the next one, and we're going to chain 2 and do another double into in the same stitch, sorry, and then we're going to skip one and we're going to do another double into this stitch. No, not doing another, we're just doing a double, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do a double into this stitch again, and then we're going to skip this one and we're going to do a double into this one here. And once you've done that double, you are going to chain 2, and then we are going to do a slip stitch into the 3rd chain, like that. So remember, for a slip stitch, you just poke, you yarn over, you pull, and then you pull this one through this one. And that is the end of round 3. So you should have something that looks a little bit like that. Now round 4, what we're going to do is slip stitch into this space. So to slip stitch, we're just going to poke our hook into the space, and then you're going to yarn over, pull it through, and then you're going to pull this one through this one. And then we're going to chain 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3. We're going to do 1 double into the same space. So here's our double. And then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to do 2 more doubles into this space. And then once you've done that, we are going to do this in every single chain space around, okay? So let's go. So now we're going to just do a double straight into the next chain space, and then you're going to do another double, and then you're going to chain 2 and do another double, and another double. So in every single chain space we've got 2 doubles, 2 chains and 2 doubles. So 2 doubles, 2 chains and 2 doubles. Then you're going to do the same again, so we've got 2 doubles, 2 chains and 2 doubles, and then into the next space you're going to do 2 doubles, 2 chains and 2 doubles, and then we're going to do the same into this space, so we're going to do 2 doubles, 2 chains and 2 doubles, and then into this space we're going to do 2 doubles, 2 chains and 2 more doubles, and then into the next one, which is here, we're going to do 2 chains, 2 doubles, no we're not, we're going to do 2 doubles and then 2 chains, sorry guys. There you go, and then into the next space we are going to do 2 doubles, 2 chains and 2 doubles, so we are literally just doing the same thing, 2 doubles, 2 chains, 2 doubles in all the chain spaces. And the chain space, you'll see, is made by having a chain on top of it. So this is not a chain space because there's no chain. This is the chain space as it's got a chain on top of it. Right, go like that till you get to the end of the round, okay? Right, and then when you get to the end, we've got our 2 doubles, 2 chains and 2 doubles. And then what we are going to do is slip stitch into the top of the chain. So we're going to just slip stitch into here. So remember, just poke, yarn over, pull, and pull this one through this one. There we go, and that's the end of round 4, and it's the end of part 2. Welcome to part 3 of how to make a star blanket. What we're going to do now is, hopefully you follow me for part 2 and you finished where I did. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, which is this one. So remember, you just poke, yarn over, pull this one through this one, and then we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then in this chain space we are going to do 2 double crochets. So remember, you just wrap, poke, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. So we need to do 2 of those, and then we need to chain 2, and then we're going to do 2 more doubles into the same space. So we've got 1 and 2, and then what we're going to do, which is a bit different from the last round, is we are going to see this sneaky stitch here. We are also going to do a double into that sneaky stitch like that, and then we are going to skip this stitch here and this stitch, and we're going to do a double into this stitch like that, and then we're going to do 2 doubles, and a chain 2 and 2 more doubles, and then we're going to find that sneaky stitch again, which is there, and we're going to do a double in there as well. So you will see now on the peaks of your star, you will now have 3 stitches on both sides Okay, and now we're going to skip these next 2 stitches. So at the bottom of our point we always skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2, we're going to go in here, so that's 1 double in there, and then we're going to do a 2 doubles in here, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do 2 more doubles into there, and then we're going to put a double into this hidden stitch, and then we're going to skip 2 stitches, then a double is going to go into this stitch, and 2 doubles into here. So into each chain space we have 2 doubles, a chain 2, and 2 more doubles. And then we're going to put a double into this hidden stitch, and we're going to skip 2 stitches, and we're going to put a double into this stitch, and then we're going to do 2 doubles, then chain 2 and 2 more doubles in this gap, and then we're going to find the cheeky hidden stitch, which is just in here, and we're going to put a double in there. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and we're going to put a double in there, and we've got 2 doubles in there. This is where the pattern repeats now. So we've got chain 2 and then 2 doubles, and then we find our cheeky hidden stitch, and we put a double in there, and then we skip 2 stitches, oops, 1, 2, and we put a double into the next stitch, and then we put 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles in here, so this becomes the point of our star, or one of the points, and then we're going to put 2 in there again, and then we'll find the hidden stitch. So basically I'm going to just reduce what I say now, so skip 2, double, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, hidden stitch, put double in it, then we've got skip 2, then we've got a double, ooh, and then we put 2 doubles into here, chain 2, and then 2 doubles, and then we put a double into the hidden stitch, and then we skip 2, and then we do a stitch into here, a double into this stitch, and then we do 2 doubles into this one, and then we chain 2, 2 doubles again, and then we put a double into the hidden stitch, and we skip 2, and then we put 2 doubles, no we don't, we put 1 double into this stitch, and then we put 2 doubles into here, and then we chain 2, put 2 more doubles into here, put a double into the hidden stitch, and then we skip 2 stitches again and we put another double into this one, and then we put 2 doubles into here, and then we do a chain 2, 2 more doubles into here, and then a double into the hidden stitch, and then we skip 2 and we put a double into this stitch, and then we put 2 doubles into the space, and then we chain 2, 2 more doubles into this space, and then we put a double into the hidden stitch, and then we skip 2 and we put a double into here, and we put 2 doubles into this space, and a chain 2, 2 doubles into this space, same space, and then we find the hidden and put the double in there, and then we skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and we do our double into this stitch, we do 2 doubles into here, our chain 2, 2 more doubles into this space, then a double into the hidden stitch, and then what we do is we leave these 2 stitches and we slip stitch to the top of this chain. So just poke, pull, and then pull this one through this one, and that is the end of part 3. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Now mine is curling a little bit, so I'm going to show you what to do on the next round to stop it doing that, okay? So tune in for part 4. So welcome to part 4 of our star blanket. What we're going to do here is slip stitch into the next stitch. So you need to poke, wrap, pull, put this one through this one, and then we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then we are going to put a double into this one here. Now on the previous round I told you to put 2 doubles into this space, chain 2, 2 doubles. But what we're going to do, every 3rd row, we are just going to put 1 double into here. So this round, we're going to put 1 double into here, and then we are going to chain 2, and 1 double into there again. And then what we're going to do is find our hidden stitch, and we're going to do 1 double into there. But because on the other side we've actually got 3, we also need to put a double into this next stitch. This is how the points on your star are going to grow. Okay, so we're still going to skip these 2 stitches here, and we're going to put another double into here and into here, and this time we're just putting 1 into the peak. So 1 double in there. We're still doing our chain 2, and then we're going to put 1 more double in there. Then we're going to find our hidden stitch, and we're going to put a double in there, and we're going to put a double in the next one. And then we are going to skip 2, so 1, 2, then you can put your double in there, your double in there. So on each peak now you should have 3 doubles. And then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to put another double in there because that's the peak. And then we're going to put a double into our hidden stitch, and then we're going to put a double down here. So we've got 3 stitches in a row. Then we're going to skip 2, and we're going to put a double in there, a double in there, and a double in this chain space, and then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to put another double in the chain space like that, and then we're going to find the double that goes into the hidden stitch, and then we're going to do one more double. And what I'm going to do is fast forwards to the end so you can see what the end of this round looks like and the beginning of the next one, okay? So I'm just coming to the end of this round. I'm still just putting one double in this peak, and then chaining 2, and then one double in the same one, and then one in the hidden stitch, and then one in the next stitch. And then we've got our 2 stitches that we miss, and then we're going to do a slip stitch into the 3rd chain. So we just poke, wrap, pull it through, and then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch again. So just poke, wrap, pull it through this one, through this one, and then we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And now we're doing exactly the same as we did on the last rows, except we're going to put 2 into this one. And I would go by how curly your star is as to how many times you change from 2 to 1 in the points, okay? So we've got 2 in there now, then we're going to chain 2, put 2 in there again, and then we're going to put 1 in the hidden stitch. And this is just how the rounds work up now, it's exactly the same, okay? So, and then you've got 1 down here. So now we've got 4 points, 4 stitches on each side, and then we're still skipping 2, and we'll have 4 stitches on this one again. So I'm going to stop recording here because the rest of it is sort of self-explanatory. You just keep going through the rounds like this. So on your next one, you'll have 5 here, unless you decide to just do 1 in the peak again, but I really will leave that up to you. I find it's a good amount if you do 2 with 2 doubles and then 1 with 1 double. I hope that makes sense, but if not, leave me a comment and I will help you. So there is my star. I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial. Sorry it took me so long to get it out, but yeah. And then you will end up with, mine's obviously 15 points, so it doesn't really look like a star, but you will end up with a star shape. Mine is also very curly, but that is because I've done so many points. But yeah, there you go, there's your star shape. And just keep going the rounds like that, just building them up. Remember, when you get to the end here, you have to slip stitch into the chain, and then you slip stitch 1 more over before you do your chain 3. I'll say that again as it was off camera. You slip stitch into the 3rd chain, and then you slip stitch into the next stitch before you chain your 3, because otherwise you'll have more stitches on this side, and you'll have really long this side and really short that side. So yeah, just keep going like that, and I hope you enjoy it.